Hello, my name is Lee Harris, and I'm going to be talking to you about Minecraft Education Edition. Now, in this video, I am going to be talking about several things. I'm going to talk about what Minecraft is, how to download it and log in, how to create and manipulate the worlds, and at the end, we'll take an in depth look at a few lesson plans that are already ready to go. So, what is Minecraft? Minecraft is a wonderful virtual environment that has students become the creators of their own world, in which they can work alone or collaborate with classmates in multiplayer. These worlds are infinitely customizable to outcomes desired by each activity, lesson, or teacher. There are tons of tools, features, and tutorials for teachers to enhance their own knowledge and create fun challenges for the students. Now, you might be used to Minecraft the game, but this is the educational version. It is intended for use in the classroom. Kids playing this edition of Minecraft can learn a variety of coding, math, and problem solving skills. They also get lessons in digital citizenship. Rather than focusing on gameplay, students participate in project based learning, tutorials, and games. There are many already made available lesson plans, and you can find them by using this QR code or just clicking on the link here on lessons. Minecraft is available for cross-platform play. That means it works on Windows, Macs, Chromebooks, and most tablets. The user experience can be scaled for all levels of learners, kindergarten through 12th grade. Let's talk about downloading and logging into Minecraft. For WSFCS employees, the Minecraft Education Edition can be found in the Software Center. If you are having any issues finding or downloading or installing Minecraft Education Edition, please contact your instructional technology facilitator or put in a technology work order ticket. Now, for all other devices, please visit this link and choose the correct operating system of your device. You can also scan this QR code. Let's click. To get to the correct link, it'll ask you who you are. You can choose educator, parent, and or IT admin. I'll say I'm an educator since I have one. I'm going to say I do have an account since I do. And as you can see, you will find several choices. Download for Mac or PC, how to install it onto an iPad, and even a Chromebook installation guide. And the lessons we talked about earlier are right here as well. Once you click on download for PC or Mac, it should read what operating system you have, and it will recommend the correct download, and all you have to do is follow the steps. If you are unsure whether or not your computer can run Microsoft Education Edition, you can just click here and you will get a notification whether or not your computer can run it. After you have installed and started Minecraft, now it's time to log in. WSFCS employee and student accounts are already Microsoft accounts. All you would do is use the same email and password that you use for your email to log into Minecraft. If you do not already have a Minecraft account, you can create one, and they are free. Finally, let's get into creating a world in which you can interact or set your lesson plans in motion for your students. Once you are signed in, you will see a screen that has the options of play, new and featured settings, and switch accounts. As you can see, my name over here, Harris J, means I've logged in the correct way. It will be different depending on which school system that you are in. An important setting that I'm going to go ahead and show you is in the general settings for your game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn my audio music way down. I'm going to turn it up just so you can hear it. There is ambient music for the entire time you are in Minecraft. And I don't know about you, but I don't think I want 30 devices playing this music all at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that way, way down. There are other sounds that you can turn down or turn up depending on how much you want it. But that's the one I do tend to stick with. In video, there are a lot of options, but what I want you to think about changing is your render distance. Now, mine's set at 24. I'm working on a very new and fast machine that can handle it. For some of our student devices, or especially Chromebooks, you're probably going to want to take this down to 12 chunks or even 8 chunks. Basically, what this does is it's how far the world will create itself around you. We'll take a look at that here in a second. But the smaller the number is, the less the computer has to do. The larger it is, the more the computer has to do. And if you're working with a device that is a little bit older or doesn't have the correct graphics card, this could really slow down the game. And now we are ready to play. So we will click on play. You will see a couple different options here. Any worlds that you have created will be in View My Worlds. As you can see, I have not created anything yet on this machine. Library has a bunch of things to go in and find, subject kits, monthly build challenges, starter worlds, and even how to play tutorials that'll really get anyone that doesn't know what they're doing into the game in an easy way. There even is more educator resources. So we're going to click on Create New. There are new and templates. Now, templates is exactly like you would expect. Templates is what you create when you want to use the same thing again and again and again. And that's a more advanced feature. So we're going to actually just click on New. And we come up with these game settings are the first thing we come into. The first thing that I would tell you to do is to change the name of the world. All right, and you can change it to whatever name you would like. Then the default game mode. This is very important, especially for the classroom setting. Survival and creative are the two main modes of this game. Survival is the game as it was intended. The world is hostile. There are enemies. You have health. You have hunger. The resources are very limited. You have to chop down trees. You have to mine for stone. You have to hunt for food. You have to grow your food. You have to build your houses out of the things you have found. So that's not exactly what we're probably going for. I would recommend that you put your default mode into creative. Creative gives you access to all the aspects and resources in Minecraft. There's no hunger, you can't be hurt. So all the game aspects of it when it comes to surviving are taken off. You can even fly around the world, which is fun, and the kids do like that. The next thing you're going to choose is the difficulty. Difficulty is basically how hard the game is. If you are on something else other than creative, this would be the choice to make. But you can choose between any of these 4 levels. But if you're in creative, just stay in peaceful. The next 2 options also are not necessary for a creative world, a starting map and a bonus chest. This will start the kids out with a map, and then the bonus chest gives a couple extra things to a player starting out. Then we come to the permission level for new players who join your world. Now, this is where you really have to think about what you are intending to do with your world. You have 3 options. You can have a visitor, so every new player that joins into your world is just a visitor. They can explore it, but they cannot do anything with the world. They can't destroy any houses, they can't build anything. So they are, as it says, just visitors stopping by. This would be a great way for a tutorial world, right? You want to show them what to do, what it should look like. Member, when you're inviting people in and they're at the member level, they can actively work with the world, right? They can break blocks, they can build things. And then the top level would be operator. As you can see, is for your TAs, your teachers, or anybody else you want to have more control in the world. After you're setting your permission level, world type is your next choice. As you can imagine, the infinite choice gives you a world that just never ends. The old world type is very similar to infinite in the fact that there could be any kind of ecosystem, which they call biomes in Minecraft, rainforest, desert, tundra, all the different kind of ecosystems are available in infinite and old. The difference with old is that it is a very small map, 256 by 256 blocks, as they say, or chunks. What I imagine a lot of people are going to do is to choose the flat world type. That is exactly as it sounds, a flat grass plain on which they can build anything they want, and there is no natural or random event that happened that comes in, like mountains or water or islands or anything to prevent them from building whatever they wanted. Seed is a more advanced technique to use to create a particular biome. You can create your world based off of, oh, there's a seed for a tundra, there's a seed for the desert, there's a seed for a rainforest, and you can look those up and enter those in here. Simulation distance is basically how far it looks out. I would keep this as low as possible, the same reason as the render distance. Your computer will be taxed heavily if you turn this up. Next comes the world options. World options include a lot more minute details to how the world actually operates. We're probably going to be turning a lot of these off. Ones that I will point out will be friendly fire. That is where the students can damage each other. So we'll turn that off. Show coordinates is something I will turn on, as it shows the X, Y, and Z coordinates of the entire world. Fire spreads, very self explanatory. You might want to turn that off if you are trying to control any fire, but if maybe you're trying to recreate the Great Chicago Fire, or maybe the fire in 64 AD in Rome, that would be a cool way to show what happens. So you can turn off and on fire spreading. TNT exploding, self explanatory. We'll turn that off. Mob loot. In a minute, we'll see a little bit more about mobs. Mobs are what we would call the enemies, or the villains, the things that would attack your player. And loot would be the prizes you would get for killing them or getting rid of their character. Turn that off, even though we're going to turn off mobs here in a second. Natural regeneration. The students aren't going to be dying when you're in creative and peaceful, so not necessary to turn on. Tile drops, and we'll see this as we work into a world. Tile drops are when you chop down a tree with an axe and you chopping a little square or a little cube, it would then drop what it was so that you can pick it up. So we'll turn that on, keep it on. Natural regeneration is their health, respawn is when they die, so those can stay off. Respawn radius is how close from where they died do they respawn or where they last spawned. Once again, as we just mentioned, this is not going to be an important aspect. After that comes the cheats. Cheats are actually a good thing in this game for the teacher. I am going to actually activate my cheats. The reason being is that I want it to always be day in my world. So you can have either always day or do the daylight cycle. And what that does, day is 8 minutes and the night is 8 minutes. And there's a 20-minute cycle of going from day through night. There is a dawn and a dusk. Keeps it interesting, but I like always day. Keep inventory is if a character dies, they get to keep everything they have. So you can turn that on or turn that off. Mob spawning and mob griefing are things we're going to turn off. Mob spawning means that none of the bad guys come out, and mob griefing is basically that the mobs can interact with the world. They can pick up objects or they can blow stuff up. Entities drop loot is basically talking about the same thing, that they could drop items or blocks. Weather cycle is interesting, but I like turning it off, especially for kids creating or doing videos. The weather cycle will bring in rain or snow or thunderstorms, and it just kind of makes the videos or what they're trying to do a little muddled. Command blocks are an advanced technique, and we don't need to worry about them right now, but they are special blocks that are only available in creative mode that can execute different kinds of commands. Random tick speed is something we're also not going to worry about. This is the way that random events happen in the game, from new animals being born, or the way that crops grow, or the way that mushrooms spread or fires spread. And you can manipulate that here at random tick speed. We're just going to leave it at 1. Show border effect will show the border of the game. Now, it might say infinite, but there is actually no infinite. There is a very real limit to how big this game can be, even though it is quite large. The border effect will show when they get there, the blocks look a little different to help them know that they are at the edge. In classroom settings, we're actually going to see a couple of the same settings we just saw in game settings. The first one we'll see is allow commands. This is something that is only for that operator member level for more precise control over the world, so you can keep that going. Code builder, especially for that computer science teacher, you're going to want to have code builder enabled. We're going to turn it off right now. Always day and perfect weather are the similar options to the weather cycle and storms that we just saw. Keep inventory is the same as in game settings. Allow mobs, allow destructive items, player damage. Player versus player damage is what we called friendly fire earlier. Immutable world just means that the world can be changed or can't be changed. If it was on, the world can't be changed. If we're wanting our students to build things, we want to turn this off. And of course, there's the show border effect. A very cool feature is the resource button URL and the resource button name. I can put in a website. I'm going to type in Flipgrid. I'm going to give it its name, Flipgrid. And this would be very specific to your assignment, so that in this world, when they went to the start menu, that would be there. If you are wanting any more information, clicking on this link for Get Help with Classroom Settings will take you to the Microsoft help pages. Now that we have adjusted all the settings, we can now play our world. We do have 2 options though, play and host. Play will take you into the world and you can manipulate the environment. You can build, you can destroy, you can do anything that you want to do, but by yourself. If you were wanting to bring students into your world, you want to host. Anytime that there will be a shared world, a multiplayer environment, host must be the option you choose. I will show you how to get to hosting even if you choose play. So let's choose play. Here we are in our flat world. Some things I want to point out. Up in the top left, you will see a position, the X, Y, and Z coordinates. The X coordinate is your left and right coordinate. The Z coordinate is your forward and back coordinate, well, depending on your orientation. And the Y coordinate is your up and down. I'm going to go back up into this hole I made. So, as you can see, it is a flat plane of existence where there is nothing here and the students can build whatever they want. You can see all the controls over on the left-hand side. Students that play computer games will be very used to these controls, but you might want to take a look at them. W, S, A, and D will control your forward, back, left, and right. Space is jump. In creative mode, if you hit it twice, you will start to fly. When you're flying, you can press space to keep flying up, or you can press shift to fly down. E button brings up your inventory, and here is where the fun really begins. Here are all the different elements that you can choose to build from: wood slabs, wood blocks, blocks of copper. There are too many to even go in to talking about. Here are the weapons and clothing. Here are some decorative items for houses. Notice here, one of my favorite things is the chemistry table of elements resource pack that has all of the elements on the periodic table. And here are your ground, earth, your nature blocks that you can then build from. You can build trees, you can build forests, you can build a mountain with lava. Oh, and here's a jack o' lantern. You want to have a Halloween themed world? That is a must. Your inventory will be what you're carrying around. And see my little guy looking around. Hello, everyone. All the things you carry will be in these boxes here. Everything that you can use will be in this bottom left. So let's go ahead and put in some things. All right, we got our oak wood planks. Let's put in a trident. Let's say I want to build a furnace. And maybe let's have a little campfire. As you can see, I now have the block in my hand. A left click will destroy or undo any blocks, and a right click will then build that object. I can change through my objects by scrolling on my mouse wheel or using the numbers. 1, 2, 3, and 4 will then take me through each one. And there is my little campfire with the smoke. And when we turned off fire from spreading, this would keep this fire here. You can hide the controls by hitting H, and it will then take away those controls just for you to see the entire world. So you are now in your world and you want others to be here. How do you get to that start menu? All you're going to do is hit escape. Escape will pause the world and take you to your menu. And if you remember when we added in our resource button, here it is. This would take them to the Flipgrid or whatever website you put in. There are some how to play tutorials here. You can get back into your settings that we were just in, and you can save and exit. But as I said, I want to invite others into the world. We're going to go over to this next tab where we see the 4 faces. It will show you who is in the world at the time and their member level. I'm an operator, as this is my world. I click on Start Hosting, and it will warn you that as soon as you do this, it will create a code for you for other players to join your world. We're going to hit Confirm, And it actually gives us a nice, cute little picture code. You can also join by IP address and port number, but let's go ahead and stay with this picture code. We have a water bucket, Alex, a carrot, and Steve. You can refresh that if you want. As it says, when you generate a new code, it will not stop the multiplayer game. It'll just be for additional players. You can, let's go ahead and reverse it, and we get a potion, water bucket, a cookie, and a sign. Ooh, fun stuff. You can also share the link by creating a URL address. As you can see, there are options for email, Microsoft Teams, and Google Classroom. If you're using that in your county, we do here in WSFCS, we use Teams. This would be a great way to share it with your class. Hit this button here to copy it to your clipboard for later use. Once I am done hosting, I can click stop hosting and go back into my world by myself. Or if I'm all the way done, I'm going to click save and exit. Now that we are back at our menu of worlds, notice our other option here next to create new is join world. This is what the student would do to join the world that you are hosting. And as you can see, we see the same pictures that our code was. All we need to do is share that code with the class, and then we can join the correct world. Down here at the three dots, we will see the ability to enter that IP address and port number I showed earlier. Back in the play menu, I now want to look at the library of already created lessons. If we choose subject kits, we will see the same subject area lesson plans that we saw before with a couple of extras: history and culture, literacy and language, esports, art and design, some different ones that were on the website. Let's choose digital citizenship. There are a couple of different options in here, but let's choose the actual digital citizenship class or lesson. As you can see, this will give you a little more information about what to expect in the world. You have two options. You can create the world or you can assign or share it. Let's just take a look at the world. Here in the world, we are now going to interact with the world to begin the lesson. As you can see, it asks for you to interact with the sysadmin to begin, which I will. It'll be a short read. Click start. It'll give you what to do. Let's head for media literacy. Now we're in a world. It automatically gives us a nice little map of the world, but we still want to talk with sysadmin to get started. So we're going to learn about how to tell. I'll give you a synopsis of what to do, and we're going to start. Oh, and here's a little guy. Let's interact with him. And here's our claim that even though modern libraries only go back to about the 18th century, the earliest libraries can be traced back as far as 2600 BC. Now we could answer that, but it says, hey, investigate the world and see if you can't find some information for you to know whether that is true or false. And there are people all around the world to tell us what is going on. So students now have to explore the world, which makes it so much more interesting to find out the answers to questions. They do have nice name tags for you to find them. Here's a firefighter. Let's talk to him. Oh, he's very knowledgeable. As we can see, I see a couple other people that we need to talk to. We've talked to a scientist. We've talked to a firefighter. Here's a librarian. But I believe the earliest examples of libraries date back to as far as 2600 BC. Wow, we should have come to the librarian first for a question about libraries. I think we now have enough evidence to answer the claim to determine whether it's true or false. Oh, it wants us to talk to everyone. Hmm. Now that we've talked to everybody, let's go to our claim. Yay! We answered our claim correctly. The digital citizenship lesson that we were just taking part of is just but one of the many lessons already created for you to use in Minecraft Education Edition. Please go into the world and build and play and learn. I hope to see you all in Minecraft and we can build our worlds together. Thank you for your time.